tribute, okay, to our country. So kahit dun lang po sa time na yon, we can have that picture taking with your virtual background as a celebration, okay, as a commemoration of Philippine Independence Day. And please, request ko lang din, mic off at all times, no? So we've been through this 2 years of online workshops and online classes. I think we all already know that. So you can turn it on later during the Q&A, no? So, and then we will have an evaluation form at the end of the webinar. So we will also need your, you need to signify your confirmation to volunteer. And take note that this is a recorded session and the group photo will be published on the MEM Facebook page. So there you go. Okay, so without further ado, we will be playing our ecumenical prayer video, followed by the national anthem. So may I request everybody, if you can start turning your cameras on, or at least turn them on once the national anthem video has started. So thank you very much, and please remain the video on until we take the group photo. Thank you.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times you have offended you. Continue to guide and protect us, Lord. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that we may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with prayer and intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اللهم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. اللهم وحد صفوفنا بين المسلمين والنصارى واللوماد إلى صراطك المستقيم. اللهم امنحهم العيش بالأمن والسلامة والتنمية المستدامة في مدينة دافاو. اللهم لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amoynen manama kami gimot tolangon, manotod kakaroson no, si koikaw kaming dokul tolangon, huway migtumpi to tano, si koikaw kaming bohoy to kaupianan tolangon na maotaw, pusako kapusung no, kana akong to pabulos koy, o agbuyo koikaw, huway bohoy kat pabor, kahalaan, kalinaw, to kanami, no pag-ugpo, huway kasabok kakoy, oyot kalambu. Kay kuro tamana kakodin panubado ipag ampo, kaupianan igboy no, way kakoy kong imono, way kahalaan ko lang.
thank you for turning your cameras on, and please keep them open. And we hope that you're putting your virtual background, and we will have our group photo taken. Sir Turf, can you take a photo of the group? So we will do a group photo right now. Kasi mamaya mawala na yung mga tao. Hello everybody! Thank you for coming here. So sige, let's do this.
Okay.
Wow, ang galing. Ganda ng daming flag.
Sige, smile. 1, 2, ready. Okay. Another one. 1, 2.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. So, before I begin, we'll play a little video to tell you about the history of media educators of Mindanao. So, let's play that video, Sir Derv. Ayan. So, this event is brought to you by Media Educators of Mindanao and, of course, with our partner, iVolunteer Philippines. By the way, just to check, did you hear the music that came with that video? Kasi some were saying that parang wala daw silang narinig na audio.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, there was no audio on that. Heard it, okay.
There
So,
was no
some heard of it. Okay, so there was an audio. All right. So, yeah, maganda pa naman yung music na yun. Right? It's a very funky and poppy. Okay, so once again, I'd like to welcome everybody to the MEM Fact-Checking Ambassador Program. And I'm Jill Palarca. I'm currently the chairperson of this organization. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what this program is all about, okay? And of course, what MEM is all about before we head on to our two speakers who will share to us the value of fact-checking, okay? And the value of primary sources to be used in checking, okay? So let me now do my presentation. Okay. Wait. Can you see my screen? Is my screen
Yes, ma'am.
on? Okay, thank you. Okay, so you just saw the 10 years of media educators of Mindanao in that 2-minute video. So it's been reigning MEM for the past 10 years since we were founded in 2013. And the new MEM is now we want to describe ourselves as a Mindanao-based non-profit organization of media and communication teachers and practitioners advocating to transform Mindanao through media education. Our vision, okay, we are a growth-centered organization, and I'll explain to you later what growth-centered means. Ano ba ibig sabihin nito for us? No? So, of course, we're committed to educate our learners, consumers, most especially, creators, and of course, our teachers in Mindanao on theories and principles that are reflective of conflict-sensitive media or communication for active civic engagement. This is important. Active civic engagement for towards an informed and just society. Okay, and that's what this program is all about. It's all about being properly informed, so that we can all, so that our society will become just. Okay, our mission, to put it simply, we have four missions. Of course, to enhance the capacities of our media educators. That's why we give a lot of trainings. If you're a member of MEM, you will get free training. So, pa-member na kayo, no, if you're not a member of MEM yet. And of course, we want to enrich the media experience of our consumers. That's why we are now trying to produce, okay, educational content materials for social media so that we can also educate not just our learners, but those who are not in school anymore, no? Especially um, people in the communities and primarily the netizens. Okay. And we want to engage in meaningful collaborations with various stakeholders. iVolunteer is one collaborator with us, and we've been collaborating since January of 2023. We've been talking to all sorts of organizations so that we can put together so many workshops and trainings, all for free if you become a member of MEM. And of course, we also want to embody the values and principles of conflict sensitivity in media. Now, what that means, I'll explain that much later. So, of course, well, behind all of this, we have leaders, and I've been, honored to have been given this task to lead MEM as we usher in a new era for media educators of Mindanao. So, we were an exclusive collective of teachers before being trained for conflict-sensitive journalism and communication, and now we've opened our doors. And with me, of course, we have Ms. Rachel Ann Baraquias, our vice chair. She's a professor at Xavier University at Ateneo de Cagayan. And of course, we have Durf Hansel Mais from Holy Cross of Davao College. And of course, you know Durf as a popular local broadcast journalist here in Davao City. Kilala niyo siya. And we have Mark Aljan Binocal from Davao Oriental State University. And we have John Ray Aleria from the University of the Immaculate Conception, who I'm proud to say is a former student of mine when he was back in college. So this is what we're saying about being growth-centered. We want to produce media educators. Gusto namin manganak na manganak ng media educators. And when we say media educators, we're not only talking about teaching inside the classroom, but once you're using information, whether in whatever platform on social media or whether you're employed in an actual media company, you're a media educator. Okay? All right. So currently we have, as of May 31, we did a tally. These are the schools that are in our system, meaning we have teachers as members from all of these schools. And nadagdagan pa yan, no? Because we just opened our CPD training course. And ang daming mga nag-register as members from senior high schools and from national high schools. And that's really a good thing for us. Okay, and aside from that, as I said, no, we just don't only admit media educators or actual teachers, but we also have members coming from different NGOs, media companies, government agencies, etc., etc. Okay, so these are just a few. Okay, we haven't checked our updated list, but as of May 31, ito sila, no, we have members coming from these organizations as well. In terms of region, of course, most of our members are coming from the Davao region, Davao City, and a lot from Davao Oriental and Davao del Norte. And second place, Jan, is Northern Mindanao. We have so many members coming from the USTP, University of Science and Technology in Philippines, tama ba? Okay, sorry. USTP, mostly Cagayan de Oro. Okay, and would you believe our third spot, no, regional most members coming from the region is Luzon. O, di ba? So we are media educators of Mindanao, pero marami kaming members coming from Luzon. And to explain that, because we have some former members of MEM. I mean, they're still current members of MEM who are now teaching in Luzon. So they've brought their, their learnings and their principles and their framework in Luzon, and they're inviting teachers to become members of them. Because the media educators of Mindanao is not exclusive to Mindanaoans, but this is open to anybody who wants to bridge the media literacy gap in Mindanao. So whether if you're from Luzon or Visayas, you're welcome to join us in our advocacy. So when you're part of MEM, okay, we're all volunteers and advocates here who nurture the culture of teachers teaching teachers. So when you're in MEM, you can join what we call meets, and these are enrichment or entertainment team building sessions. So just a few years back, we had some cocktail nights. So, di ba, cocktail while learning. So, di ba, yung mga ganyan kami. And then we do have open events, and these are events wherein we partner with organizations, and we either co-present it or just become a partner. So these are open events. And most importantly, because we want to nurture the culture of teaching, teachers teaching teachers, we do have a lot of mentorship, no, peer-to-peer topic consultancy. We share tips, tutorials. During the pandemic, we had a lot of Zoom learning sessions. So that's what you get when you're in MEM. So the there are other professional organizations out there on media and communication, and we're all friends with them, and we all work with them. But the difference we want to make with MEM is that we want to make this as a intimate community. When we see intimate community, I mean, we want to be friends with everybody. We want to check on everybody. So this is not a professional organization, but this is a community. So what we have PhD holders, we have master's degree holders in our community, but that's really not important. Okay, whether you're just whether you're an LPT or you don't have any of those titles, everyone is open, is welcome to share their knowledge in MEM. So that's what we are. No, we're very inclusive. Okay, so yeah, and we have what you call the memverse. So in the beginning of 2023, when we were reorganizing media educators of Mindanao, so we came up with this framework, okay, to lead us into our new era. And so if the MCU superheroes have the multiverse, with the Superman, we have the members, and that is the volunteer engagement and recruitment system for empowerment. So we have a framework for this. We have a framework for our volunteers and even new members. And the key word here is empowerment. We really want to empower our volunteers. We want to empower our new members, and giving them training. That's one key factor there. Okay, so when we talk about volunteering, okay, so instead of asking what's in it for me, diba? So as we're doing this shift, okay, from being a professional organization to more of an advocacy organization, we want to change the mindset of what's in it for me. Well, di ba lahat naman talaga tayo, we join something because, oh, this is gonna be good for my professional development, this is gonna be good for my resume, di ba? This is gonna give me opportunities. Well, that's all ano naman, valid, and that's all given. But today, as we reflect on the 125th anniversary of our independence, no? Nung naging Filipino tayo, we have to ask, what's in me for it to be? Diba? Ang dami nating mga pangarap para sa bansa natin. Ang dami nating pangarap para sa Mindanao. What is it in me? What skill, what talent can I share? No, so that we can actually reach our goals. And that's the whole spirit of volunteering, no, volunteerism. So the big question here is, our advocacy is we want to transform Mindanao through media education. So how will we do that? Now, Christina Galash, the UN Undersecretary General for Communications and Public Information, she said, the more we communicate about the SDGs and make people aware of the agenda, the more the governments will be accountable and will ensure that it's implemented. Alam naman natin, di ba, matagal na nating kwento yan na, Mindanao, naiwan na tayo sa development, etc., etc. What hinders the SDGs anyway? Ito lang yan, no? Of course, poor governance hinders the achievement of these SDGs. And what causes poor governance? Graft and corruption. And what causes graft and corruption? Of course, because we continue to elect traditional politicians instead of true public servants. Why is this happening? Because, these traditional politicians are peddling disinformation. And when they're peddling disinformation, of course, that kills democracy. Why is that? When you're not properly informed, then your decision making will be incorrect, di ba? So you're not properly guided. So information should be there, proper information, factual information, okay, should be there. Storytelling is great. A lot of these traditional politicians would use storytelling, and storytelling is really a great way for people to remember information. And so we have to know all of these things. And this is why we're launching this program, because we want to educate people, and not just learners, no, but ordinary citizens. So men's advocacy is transforming Mindanao through media education. So alam mo naman natin, no? There's been disinformation about Mindanao, di ba? Ako, when I was a college, studying in UP din naman before, back in the 90s, okay? Oh, tanong nila, meron bang mall? O, di ba? Sa akala nila, anong itsura ng Mindanao, di ba? Akala nila, taga-bukid kayo ko ba, and all of that. So there's, di ba parating may gera doon? So there's a lot of disinformation about Mindanao. And then recently, there's also this information coming from Mindanao, di ba? So, ang daming mga content creators, magagaling na mga content creators natin, talented people, who were somehow, for the lack of a better word, used, no, to peddle, embellish, or embroidered stories. So, media education is not only for communication majors anymore. Media literacy is a human right and a civic responsibility because of this reality. So while MIL, no, media information literacy, the metaphor for that is like taking the blindfolds off. When you take your blindfolds off, you see media and society for real. Okay, you see the reality. But with CSJ or CSM, or conflict sensitive journalism and communication, which is the heart of MEM, it's like putting an X-ray, putting on a set of X-ray goggles. Okay, we see deeper. Okay, so we have to do more critical thinking talaga. And when you say conflict sensitive communication, journalism, or media, it's not just a process of writing for journalists, but it is now a lens, a critical thinking lens. So I teach this in senior high school. We integrate this when I teach MIL. And I tell my students, this is really a lens for looking at things. Okay, so when you see things with, being sensitive to conflict, then you become, a more responsible media consumer and essentially a media creator. So fact checking is a very important component of conflict sensitive communication. So MEM is a piece of the big picture. So if you see here, no, if MEM is like an atom, inside, the pinaka-vulnerable part, okay, of this atom are the K to 12 teachers. So we have lots of K to 12 teachers in MEM, and they're the ones who really need the assistance, so to teach MIL, to teach media education, because maybe you don't know this, but there are so many MIL teachers out there who are physics teachers, theology teachers, PE teachers. They're being required, or they're given the task to teach MIL na wala naman silang kaalam-alam about media education. That's where MEM comes in, to bridge that gap, to help them teach this subject. And nakabalot sa kanila, we have the HEI teachers, no? Yung mga HEI teachers natin, college teachers, they're the ones with the masters, the PhDs, and they can, while they're also lifelong learners, they can help these K to 12 teachers. And kaakibat nila are the media and communication practitioners that we also have in MEM. And even though they're not officially members, no, we work a lot. We work with a lot of media and communication practitioners to give this capacity development training. And nakabalot sa amin, no, so for us to do this, we have to have our funding partners and our knowledge partners. Knowledge partners are those yung mga other organizations that share our advocacy, who can also provide us with the training. And that is Media Educators of Mindanao. MEM is a piece of that big picture. So as MEM, we are part of the fact-checking alliance called Facts First PH. So it's a coalition of around 120 media agencies, academies, NGOs. And ang focus namin is we want to make sure that we eradicate, disinformation, make sure that we teach this society, and make them less disinformed. Hindi naman yung overnight pangyayari. So this is a mission that we have to do. And when we have an informed society, then we can have the global goals achieved. So we've been asking volunteers to join us, no? So we've had a call for volunteers before, previously, and now we're here. We're all calling you to become part of this MEM fact-checking ambassador program, to be a truth patriot, okay? Today, during Philippine Independence Day, diba? What a great day to do that, to pledge allegiance to the truth, okay? Because we have to help our nation, build itself. And for us to build our nation, we really have to have an informed and just society. Okay, so what are the empowerment opportunities here? So if you sign up to become a MEM fact checking ambassador, you go through 3 levels. Everyone starts at level A. Okay, so this is what you need. This is what you're going to do as a MEM fact checking ambassador. Level A is amplify. So you're going to like and follow MEM for updates. You're going to join our Facebook group, our fact checking ambassadors Facebook group, and you're just going to share and share whatever we're going to share to you na ito, mga fact check pieces, no? Coming from the different agencies that have been sharing to us, no? We need to amplify. Okay, and then if you want to go level up, okay, I want to do more. So you're gonna go level B, be trained. So you're going to attend training sessions organized by men. You're going to monitor social media for suspicious content and help us report. No, so we can report this to our partner agencies such as MindaNews and all sorts of media agencies who have fact checking microsites already. So we can help report for suspicious content. That's level B. And then level C, okay, this is level C is curate and check. So you can really be part of us and assist MEM in curating fact check pieces. So you're going to be a fact check associate for us and be there during the meetings for Facts First PH Alliance. Okay, and you will also be able to write now fact check pieces and get published on our platform and possibly on our partner media outlets. Okay, so that's level A, B, and C. So everybody starts at A, but hey, you can always tell me, I want to start at level B right away. I want to start at level C right away. Go ahead. Everybody's welcome to do or to be part of this at any level they want to be. So that's it. So we hope that you can be a truth patriot, commit to be a fact-checking ambassador for media educators of Mindanao as we transform Mindanao through media education. Thank you so much for listening. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to introduce our first speaker. Okay, our first speaker is a seasoned journalist in Mindanao. He started with Mindanao Times and is currently the social media specialist of MindaNews. He is a certified fact checker by the International Fact Checking Network, or IFCN, and now writes fact check pieces for the MindaNews Fact Check microsite and check.ph. Please welcome Mr. Yas Ocampo.
Hello, mag-sound check lang po. Okay, okay naman na. Hello, maayong buntag. Let me just share my screen. Yan. Okay. So thank you, Ma'am Jill, for giving me this opportunity to speak to these very influential people in this meeting. My personal advocacy has always been to find a way to help mold the next generation of journalists. So I guess this is one of those ways. My name is Yas Ocampo. I apologize for my voice. I'm not really feeling so well today, pero I'm willing to speak. So this presentation is called Fact Checking Mindanao and Our Progress. So what I want to do here is to share with you what we are doing as a certified fact checker of the International Fact Checking Network at Pointer. The IFCN, of course, is a very exclusive group of newsrooms, worldwide, sorry. And in the Philippines, there are only 4 and counting. So that includes Rappler, Verifiles, MindaNews, and Press One. So we just got certified along with Press One no March. So we're very happy about that. We're very happy about that. My first question, si Ma'am Jill siguro pipili ng sasagot. Where in Mindanao is this field located? Nakamute si Ma'am Jill.
Ako mag-answer niyan?
Ay, no po. Magpili tayo ng speaker para audience participation.
Audience participation. O dapat taga-mem nang sumagot for volunteer. Sino
Yes po. Lucky
mag-volunteer
guess.
dyan?
Kahit lucky guess.
I'll call someone from iVolunteer.
Yes po.
Sir Cedric, are you here?
Hi, Miss Jill. Yeah, Bukidnon.
Okay, let's give another 2 more tries. Thank you for that try. Sige, next trial.
Ako pa rin. Iba
Iba
na.
na po. Pero thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the answer.
Sige, let's call Miss Helen, one of the new members of MEM. Hello, Miss Helen.
I don't have any idea because I am in Leyte.
I think there's an answer here. Pulamalok din. So that can be our 3rd try. Okay na. So no, so it's Bukidnon.
Yes.
I have no idea, and then there's Pulamalok. So
I am
thanks
Leyte.
everyone for trying. That is the first lesson in fact checking, because the first lesson in fact checking is everything you see online, you must be suspicious of. This is not from Mindanao, nor is it from the Philippines. At this point, there is no fast way of figuring out where this can be located. There is no hindi ko ma-right click kasi shared screen, di ba? But when to tell you the truth, this is a Canva template. So but when I said that this is from Mindanao, you already assumed that I was telling the truth. That is one thing that we as educators in Mindanao and in other parts of the Philippines must be very keen, especially when we're looking at our screens. We are living in a time when the truth can be bent and can be redefined. And as we have already seen in the past, 5 to 10 years, even 20, even 30, the past, and I mean, history has been bent to benefit the others. Diba? This is one of the goals of fact checking. We want to bring back the practice of encouraging truth-seeking behavior. Diba? We are beginning to lose that, or if we haven't already. We believe everything we see online, and maybe this approach that we do in MindaNews could be helpful for educators like us. Okay. So it's not in Mindanao. So MindaNews, of course, is it's a how do you explain MindaNews? MindaNews began as an advocacy to tell Mindanao's stories from the point of view of Mindanao writers. So these were all journalists who were writing about Mindanao for Manila, and then eventually we formed an organization of our own in 2001, and we've been around since then. In 2021, we formed a fact-checking unit. It's a unit of 2. It's an editor and a writer. So ako po yung writer. Of course, the editor also writes. And we started in October 2021 as an initiative launched as part of InterNews, pioneering Philippine Fact Checker Incubator project. So it was funded by that project. We were trained how to do digital forensics in terms of sources, even locations ng areas. Actually, I can look for that exact location, pero I don't have time to teach here. Pero yung the very idea of figuring out where places are, that's part of our jobs as teachers. We cannot automatically say na ang ganda-ganda ng ng beach sa Bansalan, di ba? kung hindi ka familiar sa geography, I will show you later. Matutuwa ka sa pictures na pinakita about beaches kuno sa Bansalan. I'll show you how this happened in one of our fact checks. So basically, we seek to fight misinformation and disinformation circulating on the internet, news platforms, and the communities that we serve. MindaNews, of course, is a fully digital news service. We also have other services like archiving, libraries, book sales. Okay. Pero wait, ang point nun kasi ng slide na to is that we have done a lot of fact checks for the past 2021, 2 years. So ito yung some of the examples here. So as you can see, example dito is yung claim na Davao City is the 7th richest. Tapos yung misleading information about the Tampakan mine operations, and then ano ba? A fake illegal Facebook page. There was somebody who faked the local government Facebook page of Iligan City. And my favorite, there's actually a blogspot website that cloned our website. I will also show you this later. I mean, why would you do that? Pero sige lang. MindaNews fact check debunks fake news, false claims, and misleading statements, and we tag it as fake, false, misleading, altered, or missing context. Tapos, our results are posted on our website, on Facebook, and Twitter. It started as something that was funded by Internews, and then it's becoming a sustainable enterprise for us. And then this is also very important, and this is something that we can talk about, Miss Jill. The public can provide leads for fact check pieces and other news stories. I really welcome this, especially since it's a two-man team. Our fact checking unit, we could really use some help in scouring online for misinformation and disinformation about Mindanao. Okay. Why do we do this? Like Ma'am Jill says, politicians, government officials, and other public and private figures at times tend to bend facts to suit or advance their vested interests. So this is no longer surprising. It's been happening for a long time. In effect, misleading the public. The distorted facts spread easily with the popularity of the internet and the wide influence of social media. I'm sure you all know how difficult it is to be a teacher right now. In one of the news items, I think last month, there was a flag of the Nazi, of Nazi Germany posted on the wall of a suspect of a killing. Parang it's so disturbing to have somebody think that Nazism was cool. Diba? It's very disturbing. Where have we gone wrong as teachers? But anyway, it's really a matter of the influence of disinformation and misinformation online. This is one of those things. So the distorted facts spread easily with the popularity of the internet, and lately napakahirap nang mag-verify ng information online, and pohon God willing, tayo po ang tutulong para mapuksa ito. Here's basically just the difference between the fake, false, misleading, altered, and missing context. I'll give you a copy of this slide. I don't want to go into the particular specifics of this, pero if you want to explore, we are one of the partners of check.ph, tsek.ph, or check.ph. Nandun po yung one of the ways in which these tags are defined. 20 minutes lang kasi ang naka-assign, so I don't want to hog the time. How do we do this? First, we do the detection. So detecting means team members monitor press conferences, speeches, statements, interviews, social media sites for statements worth fact checking. This part is mostly what do you call this? It involves a lot of research and media monitoring. So another thing that's I'm not sure if it's being taught in classes, pero not only should we teach our students how to write news or how to read them, we should also teach them to constantly monitor information. Medyo kulang yun eh. Medyo there is a gap that I am seeing there. For example, ask any of your students who among them still reads newspapers, you will get only a handful. And that's a reality. Next, and then once we find the questionable statements or information, we search for documentation and other evidence to support the fact check. And so we can do that. Documentation means official documents, hindi lang yung sabi sa blog. According to this blog, di ba? Mga ganun. Or according to this video on social media, di ba? Ginagawa natin yan. Parang it's a little funny, pero that has become the norm among our students too. And this is a particular, this is very disturbing as somebody in media and somebody teaching, because our students have stopped reading. That is also a reality that we have to face. Our students have forgotten how to read anything outside Facebook. And by the way, your students are no longer on Facebook. You also have to accept that. No longer are they on Facebook. Tayo-tayo na lang ang nandun, actually. Your kids are on TikTok, they are on Discord, they are everywhere else. They are running away from the social media sites that we started. Some of them are hiding on Twitter, but not with the usernames that you can search. So parents here, if you're if you are curious about your children's digital diet, you must be, especially if they are underage. So the team searches for documentation and other evidence to support the fact check. So these are like official documents that are published online and offline. Natawa si Derf. Mga pioneers kami ng Facebook eh. Okay. And then what else? Vetting, of course, is the fact check claims are then submitted to the editor for copy editing and vetting. So this involves the writing and the editing of the document, of the article, including the links to the source, as well as the links and screenshots to the posts that were false or fake or misleading, etc. The links to debunk the claim are always included in the story. The rationale here is for people who are reading the works to have an opportunity for themselves to check the material themselves. Ma'am Jill, how much time do I have left? Naka-conscious ako.
You can have 10 minutes, 10 more minutes, yes.
10 is fine, thank you. And then after that, of course, we do the cards. The cards is, of course, the ones you are more familiar with. The ones with the fake, angle namin ng ganyan. Ganyan pala. Yung fake na nakatagilid, ganyan. And then the editor does one final look so that when it's published, it anticipates how it looks like on social media, and there is an accompanying image for it. I will show you examples of this, of course. I apologize for the sustainable development rules. Wala yung, I just based this off a template. Delete. Okay. What else? And then, okay. And our guiding principles are truth, accountability, and everything that is evidence-based. So as a news organization, we strictly adhere to accuracy, fairness, balance, independence, accountability, and transparency, not just in our fact-checking initiative, but in all other aspects of our work at MindaNews. And then accountability, we abide by the Philippine Press Institute's Journalists Code of Ethics and the IFCN Code of Principles. And then everything that we do in the fact-checking, discipline is evidence-based. We fact-check a claim that is specifically claimed to be a fact and involve the public interest or the welfare of the people. We debunk the false claims using official government records, journals, or interviews with experts. Okay. And then after that, I know it's tempting to do this, but we don't necessarily need to fact-check opinions. Okay, so that's different. Here I will show some examples of some fact-checking that we have done in the past 2 years. So we're approaching 2 years. So this is, of course, alam niyo na saan to. This is Samal. So if you have Canva for educators, you have photos of Davao or Mindanao. This is Samal. Legit na yan. Kita ko na yung mga bangka. I've seen those. Di ba when you cross from Paradise? Okay, so there's one of the examples that we have here is the tourist destinations that were wrongly named as part of Cagayan de Oro. In this example, it is misleading because sorry, unahin ko lang yung ano. 4 destinations were tagged mistakenly as belonging to Cagayan de Oro City. There were, ano tawag dyan? 4 tourist destinations, 2 in Bukidnon, 1 in Misamis Oriental, and another in the island province of Camiguin are labeled as belonging to Cagayan de Oro in an undated promotional item posted in a website called, posted on Facebook by John Dorf Ventures. It's one of those blogs, a real estate developers. So the article is called Cagayan de Oro Tourist Spots You Will Surely Fall in Love With. So the article mentions, of course, Dahilayan is not in Cagayan de Oro, it's in Bukidnon. And so on. So Del Monte Pineapple Farm, in Manila Fortich, Divine Mercy Shrine, Salvador City, and White Island. These are not at all in Cagayan de Oro. And if you're not familiar with the geography of Mindanao, you would easily be fooled into thinking that this is accurate or correct. Next, there is a claim by His Excellency, the former President Rodrigo Duterte, that the Davao City is the first to implement a smoking ban in public places. Historically, it is not Davao City. According to our research, it was Quezon City in 1989 who implemented a smoking ban. So the diehard supporters would probably say, hindi, ano lang. In fairness naman, as a Dabawenyo, makikita mo yung implementation and how it declined, even here. I'm not saying that it's just Quezon City that declined. There is also a sort of decline here. But that's another story altogether. The first LGU to implement a smoking ban in public places is QC, Quezon City, through Ordinance Number NC-73, Series of 1989, passed on January 5, 1989. This was during the time of Brigadier Simon Jr. as mayor and former Senator Vicente Soto as vice mayor. So, in one of the interviews between, I think this was with Kibuloy, Pastor Kibuloy, former President Duterte said, as many Dabawenyos do, myself included before, Davao City is the first to implement a smoking ban. Okay? It's not true. What else? Okay? So this is one of my favorites. Ito, gi-clone kami ng Bayani Philippines. And then we fact-checked it. Sa left, Facebook page, Bayani Philippines, which claims to be a news and media outfit, and media website, has been publishing contents originally published by MindaNews. The former is a fake media entity. For the record, Bayani Philippines is neither an affiliate nor is it connected in any way with MindaNews, the news service arm of the Mindanao Institute of Journalism. And true enough, consistency. Nirepost niya ulit yung aming isa right, if you notice, it's actually also a post about them faking our content. And they are posting this themselves on their own Facebook page. So, giunahin nila ilang sarili. If you understand Cebuano, they are, fact-checking themselves, apparently. We've asked about this, and it's fairly common for popular websites to get some kind of scraping that is done here. If you click that link, it's not really malicious, pero it's just really a clone of our website. In the past 2 weeks, we've also found at least 2 other clones of our website in Chinese. They translated our website into another language and then just posted online ads. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. If you have questions, I think there's a part of the talk for this. So thank you very much for the time. If anything, I'd like to encourage all the teachers to be more circumspect about anything that you see online, diba? Including ito, nakakapraning to, Pero including the things we say out loud. I'm not even kidding. Your devices are listening to you. So it may affect the way you perceive truth. Diba? So for example, magsabi ako dito, Nokia, Nokia, Nokia. Tingnan nyo, after like a few minutes or a few
Yes.
hours, that Nokia ad will appear on your Nokia
Appear.
dashboard.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much for the time. I hope I didn't overspend it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yas Ocampo. Let's give him a round of applause, please. And yes, bitin, no? But that's exactly what we're here for with the MEM Fact Checking Ambassador Program, is that we promise to give you more training if you sign up. Okay? Yan talagang commitment namin, is to continuously educate you so that you become fact checkers yourself. So we have level A, B, and C. All right? So talk about that later. Now we move on to our second speaker. Okay, so our second speaker is a PhD student in history from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where he is studying the recent economic history of Davao City. Okay, as part of his research, he is creating a digital library of local newspapers, which is the topic he will discuss today. Please welcome Mr. Johnny Bassett, the founder of History Karon. Johnny?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Mayong buntag sa tanan and happy Independence Day to everybody. So in my talk, I'm going to share about this digital library that we're building, which is, I think, a great follow-up to Yaz's talk, because as Yaz pointed out, in order to do fact checking, you need access to sources, especially official government sources, and for some of the historical narratives that you're trying to fact check, you really need access to historical sources. But what do you do if you don't have them, if it's very difficult to access them? As a historian, that's what I'm primarily concerned with, how we get access to historical sources, and that's the impetus for the project that I'm going to describe today. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you should see some slides in just a second. So can you see the screen here?
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So as Jill mentioned, I'm a PhD student in history at the University of Wisconsin-Madison in the United States. And so I'm doing my PhD on generally on the history of Southeast Asia, but for my dissertation, which I'm working on right now, I'm writing about the economic development of Davao City between the 1970s and 2010. So in order to write this history, I need access to historical documents. And so since 2017, I've been coming back and forth to Davao looking for archives, and the pandemic interrupted that, obviously. And then I've been here since January, trying to find resources that I can use for the dissertation. And as a result of that, we have ended up building this. So I want to tell you why I'm doing this project, because I think it overlaps somewhat with what Yas was talking about. As all of you, I'm sure, are aware, Davao City is misunderstood by a lot of people, especially in the general audience, in the general public. The little that is written about Davao often leans on overly simplistic tropes, which is often the violence and authoritarianism. And you don't have to look hard to find those, and I'm sure you're all aware of them. But I'm an academic, and so my motivations are primarily within the field of academia. And within that field, there's still a big problem with how Davao is understood, mostly in that it's overlooked. So academic literature on Philippine history is almost totally dominated by writing about Manila and about Cebu. There are, of course, some fantastic exceptions to that. We have Macario II at Ateneo de Davao. We have Patricio Abenales, who's not from Davao, but he's written a really great history of the development of Davao City up until martial law. And then more recently, just in the last month, we had the book launch of a new book about Davao history about the abaca industry, written by Pat Dagudao from Ateneo de Manila. But other than these sources, there really isn't very much. And so for a junior academic like myself, this makes the study of Davao history a good fit for someone like me, because there isn't very much that's been written, and so there's room for me to contribute. So that means that if I'm going to write anything about Davao history, I need to find some sources. Same as if Yas is going to write anything about, if he's going to do any fact checking, he needs to find some historical sources. So you can do oral histories, and there's that's what a lot of journalists would end up doing. Yeah, you're doing a lot of interviews, that kind of thing. But of course, as every journalist knows, those need corroboration, and so you're often looking for official documents that would back that up. You would also want to look for statistical data, and so that's what I've spent a lot of time doing that, working with NEDA and PSA and Minda, Central and Filipinas, the Port Authority, Minda, but also looking outside to places like JICA from Japan and USAID, both of which have done significant amounts of work in Davao City. But there's very limited coverage of statistical information in Davao City, especially for the older periods. If you're looking for data from the 1970s, 1980s, even the 1990s, it's quite hard to find anything. Most of the agencies in Davao are unfortunately unable to keep many of their older records. So a lot of them just don't have anything that is older than around 2000. So you're looking for documents, and where do you go to find those documents if they're not in the form of statistical reports or spreadsheets from some of these main agencies? Where do you go? And what I found is, unfortunately, there aren't too many places to go. The number of archives here in Davao City are relatively limited, even though you have fantastic resources like Museo Davaoenyo, and there's a new city archive. Their coverage is a little thin. So I've been looking around for ways that we can build up the stockpile of historical sources that we have access to for anybody who wants to learn about Davao City history. And that has led me to end up having to create my own database, working with Ateneo de Davao and Mindanao Times. We've ended up having to create our own digital library. So this digital library it focuses on local newspapers. Newspapers being one of the only large tranches one of the only kinds of documents for which we've been able to find a large tranche of data. So the Mindanao Times, if you've ever had the privilege of going into their archive room, they have an incredible stash of old newspapers going back to their establishment in the 40s. So they have incredible stuff there, but unfortunately a lot of the papers have fallen apart and termites have decided to eat a lot of that history. So since 2017, I've been working with them to preserve a lot of their holdings, and that means scanning, taking photos, and then turning them into searchable PDFs, which I was using just for my academic research. And then I realized that Ateneo de Davao has an even bigger stash of documents. On the 5th floor of their library, they have thousands and thousands and thousands of issues of local papers that they have managed to keep for the last 40 years in many cases, going back until 1972, I think is their earliest issue. So for my research, I have needed to preserve these issues and find ways to engage with them. But at that time, Ateneo de Davao, and I realized that this is a really fantastic opportunity that could benefit people much, much more important than me. And this is a way that my PhD research could end up being useful to all of you, people who want to do fact checking, people who want to just learn about Davao City history, anybody who wants to take advantage of a new resource with accurate information about Davao City. So our goals with this new project are to make Davao City's history both more engaging by offering these digital tools and more accessible, as in you don't have to go to the back room at the Mindanao Times or to the 5th floor of the Ateneo de Davao Library in order to engage with some of this incredible history. And so I put a link for a Facebook page on the screen here, and that's a link to a new page that we just launched about 2 weeks ago. But that is presenting some highlights out of the digital library that we're building, and trying to raise some awareness about what we're doing, because we think this is a great opportunity for people in Davao to take charge of this and celebrate their history and champion it in a way that has been very difficult to do previously. I'm donating everything that we're scanning, all of the processing, all of the tools that I'm building. These are all being donated to Ateneo de Davao and MindaNews. And it'll really be up to them and to anyone who's interested in forming collaborations with them, what happens here. But I want to tell you about this because you all are very interested in these topics, and I think you have an incredible opportunity here to work together and work amongst yourselves to put something together. So I'm going to switch over now to show you what the database looks like. And I want to first qualify this by saying I'm not a computer programmer. I'm just a nerd who likes history. And unfortunately, I had to build all these tools all myself in order to do this work, because nothing was available and I didn't have enough money to hire somebody much smarter than me to do this for me. So of course we might find some bugs and things in the database, so just ask you to be patient. I'm going to switch my screen now. I think I need to stop the share and then reshare. Okay. So Jill, can you see the new screen now?
Yes, you can see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yay. Okay. So what you're looking at right now is a mock-up of what could be an open access website. So imagine that you go to DavaoHistory.com or something like that, and this is what pops up. I'm going to give you a little tour of what we have here, and then I'm going to go back and we're going to do an actual search, and we're going to see what we can find in the database. So first, I'm going to hop over to this that tells us a little bit about what's in the database. So currently, we're adding new material every day, but what is in the database right now includes pages from the Mindanao Times, so the Bidra Express, Mindanao Daily Mirror, Periodico Davao, and the Mindanao Mirror Bulletin. And right now, it's limited to 1980 to 1998. But we have pages going back as far as 1972, I think, as of now, and up until 2010. So this does not represent the entire, the extent of what we have available, but it represents what I've been able to load into the database so far, because there's a bit of data cleaning that has to happen before it goes in. But even this small sliver covers about 60,000 pages of documents, which are organized into about 4,500 complete issues of the newspaper. We have scanned more than 100,000 pages so far. And so I'm adding those every day. I'm adding a few more thousand pages. And my colleagues at the Ateneo de Davao, who are doing the really hard work of scanning all this stuff, they are adding another 2,500 pages every day, at least until the end of the month when my funding runs out. And so we're doing as much as we possibly can before we hit that wall at the end of the month. So one of the best things that you can do with this is that you can browse the newspapers. So you can pick a date and then pick a newspaper and see what you've got. So we're going to take a look at the Mindanao Daily Mirror, and we're going to find the first issues that are available that are close to 1980. So this is going to take a little second for the hard drive to warm up, because this is all on my local system. But now, Shazam, we're now looking at these issues. So these represent entire issues of the Mindanao Daily Mirror that we've been able to scan. And so you can click forward to see different pages. You can quickly skim over a bunch of the different headlines here. You can see You can get a feel for what was happening over time. You can quickly look at things, but only the front pages. And if you're interested in seeing what's actually inside one of these issues, you can click a button and it will download the PDF to your local system, and then you can open it in full on your system and see it there. Can you still see? I opened up the PDF, but I'm not sure if the screen sharing follows that. No, can you see a PDF on the screen now?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll switch over real quick. So here is now the PDF that we just downloaded. So we can now browse across the entire issue. This one has about 18 pages, so we're not going to scroll the whole way. But one of the things that we can do here, which makes it especially helpful for someone like me, a historian, whose eyes are going to fail if I try to read everything, is that you can search. So let's say we're trying to search for something about bad roads. So we can search for the text bad road, and it highlights on the screen, and you can jump around this way. So we're about to search the entire database in this way, but you can search individual issues as well. I'm going to jump back to the main interface now, and we're actually going to do a search. So that's an example of the browse function, and now we're going to look at the search. So let's search something for which we're sure there's going to be a ton of information available. So let's search for Kadayawan. And we're going to search across all 5 newspapers, and we're going to search across the entire date range, but you can change this up if you want. So I need everything between 1980 and 1998. We're going to search. So it's searching across 60,000 pages right now, and it's now returning some results here. So we've got a little essay here about Kadayawan and the development, how it came to be. That's from 1995 from San Pedro Express. We've got some photos from 1993 from San Pedro Express. We've got some headlines from Kadayawan Judo Fest and a volleyball tourney from 1998. We've got all sorts of stuff here. And right now the search, we have a nice haiku Davaoeño from 1993 from Periodico Davao. We have all sorts of stuff. And we have in total, we have about 860 results. So you could click through this. You can look at the next set of results like this. You can see a lot. So this is a very, very simple way to interact with the database. Someone with proper programming experience would be able to, there's so much information here that you can mine that I'm convinced that someone smarter than me would be able to get a lot out of this. For what I'm doing, it's relatively simple, but already I'm confident my eyeballs aren't going to fall out by the end of the project because I can use this tool. So we are doing 2 things here. We're preserving all these pages. Some of them are molding already, some of them are falling apart, but this is helping us save them. And we're making all of this history fully searchable. And we're improving the search functionality all the time. And when I say we, it's currently just me who's doing the programming. So we're trying to solve that problem because I'm not the smartest programmer around. So we could do a lot better than that. So I'm going to shift back to the PowerPoint. So now that I've shown you this database and you can see basically what it does, and you can see that we have a large amount of information in there that covers a lot of different topics. Anything you can imagine to search, and you can type it in like you would search Google, you can now find this out about Davao City history in a way that previously we hadn't been able to do. So our goals looking ahead now are that we want to expand the coverage of the newspaper archive to more newspapers and more years. And to do this, we need to identify more archives. Ateneo de Davao has a huge, huge number of newspapers, but they are missing a lot. For example, we only have 6 years of Periodico Davao from 1989 to 1994. And some of those years, they only have a couple issues. So there's a lot that's missing that we could add to this that would make it even more useful. We also need to hire more research assistants to help with the scanning. And that's primarily a funding issue because from a technological standpoint, it's very easy to scale this up. All of the scans are just being done by people using their cell phones. And it's very easy to train somebody how to do this, how to do the scanning. So we're looking for funding that will help hire more research assistants so that we can scan more, and so that when my funding runs out at the end of this month, that we can continue to add to this database. But finally, and maybe most importantly, we're looking for a Davao-based organization who can work with Ateneo de Davao and the MindaNews. Remember that these scans are all being donated back to them, and so it's really up to them what happens with all of this stuff. But we want to find a local organization that will take over the project and champion it. And in my dream scenario, this becomes a public resource. Hopefully this won't be locked away in a university library somewhere or become a pay for access service. This perhaps idealistically, but this history really, I think, belongs to Davaoeños. And if it can be made accessible to everyone, it will be that much harder for people who haven't had the opportunity to live in Davao, to learn about Davao, and thereby chip away at some of the most difficult stereotypes that have dogged Davao City since the 1980s. Davao City is so different than it was in the 1980s. And even though I'm not from here and wasn't alive in the 80s even, it only takes about 5 minutes of looking at the newspapers from the 1980s to know that it is a very, very different city today. So we hope by making it a public resource, it'll be easier for everybody to learn more about the city, so that the narrative about what's happened in Davao City can become more nuanced and more complicated and adhere more closely to the facts. And I think that ties in very closely with the broader fact-checking mission of MEM and what Yas is doing at MindaNews. And so I'm very, very pleased to be able to share this with you today. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Johnny. Let's give him a round of applause. Wow, this is very exciting. You know, the history of Davao is not only relevant for Davaoeños, it's relevant for Mindanao, being Davao City being known as like the center of this region. And most very importantly, for outsiders to really know more about, and to debunk all those misconceptions and finally get to primary sources to get to the facts. So, all right, thank you so much for that presentation. Now we want to call on somebody, okay, who can express himself and give his feedback or like a response to this call, to our call on getting fact checkers or for this men fact checking ambassador program. Okay, may we call on Andrew Topinio, who will represent the Davao Digital Influencers, to say his thoughts about this project and what it means for him to be a fact checker. Andrew?
Hello. Hello. Hi, Miss Jill. Thank you so much for inviting. Again, I'm Andrew Topinio. I am a local content creator. I have worked with Miss Jill before, and also I was a former student ni Sir Durf. Hi, Sir Durf.
Hi, Drew.
So no, the internet is a very big place and it continues to get bigger every day. And there's so much information traveling in and out of our screens. And as Miss Jill and Sir Yas said earlier, na these said information can be changed or misconstrued to mislead people. So for me, I believe it's a very important habit, fact checking, because when we research and confirm facts, no matter how small it may be, we can help lead people sa tamang way, like we can also influence other people to do the same, and through that we can have a community that that is, alam mo yung parang they do uh they all are knowledgeable on what is right, and they can create opinions based on facts. Yeah. So it's also very important that we help preserve information, like by helping projects like kay Johnny's Davao newspaper archive, because when we also have, I believe when we have accurate information available, it's easier to confirm facts, and it's harder for people to weaponize said information and mislead people. Yeah. So as somebody who creates content online, and as somebody who contributes to the information being posted online, I give my commitment to being a fact-checking ambassador.
Yay! Thank you so much, Andrew. So yeah, along with we want to continue engaging with the other Davao Digital Influencers, no, and with Andrew here expressing his pledge or pledging his commitment to do this. I hope everybody gets on board. Now you've heard the importance of fact checking, and di ba, nagulat pa kayo sa mga surprising facts na sinabi ni Sir Yas kanina. And this exciting project by John, that we have access to information and history. Being today as Philippine Independence Day, we really have to value our histories, because when we know where we came from, it's only when we can have a clear picture of where we're going to be, in terms of the future. Now, as an action call for volunteers, no, I'd also like to talk quickly. Sir Dave from iVolunteer, no, the iVolunteer is our partner for this project, and they've really been mentoring us on how to, develop our volunteers here in MEM. Dave, can you share a little bit?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. This is a really brief, what do we call this? Introduction of iVolunteer Philippines. And I am really happy to be part of this event. Miss Jill, congratulations. This is really a success. And I'm really happy to hear na meron ng someone who committed to become volunteer. So for those who are not yet ready or not yet sure if they want to volunteer for MEM, I would like to encourage you to continue it. So with that, I will be introducing iVolunteer Philippines. So this is just a very short introduction. So iVolunteer Philippines is a nonprofit organization who envisions of a better Philippines by encouraging every Filipino to volunteer towards nation building. So ang values ng MEM at ni iVolunteer is really aligned because we want to have a better Philippines. But we do it in different ways. So MEM do it by what is explained by Miss Jill early, and iVolunteer do it by encouraging everyone to become volunteers. So last May 27 and 28, we have a Go Volunteer Expo at the SM Ecoland Annex. So it is the first in the history na merong volunteer expo here in Mindanao. So we have it many times in Manila, but it is first in Mindanao. So without of all the volunteers, iVolunteer is 100% uh, run by volunteers. So we reach 570,000 in our social media. We have 9,000 visitors physical in the SM Ecoland Annex. We open 6,128 volunteer opportunities, including this, and 312 event site-ups, including this pa rin, and 34,000 volunteer hours with our 14 partner organizations. So for those who are not yet sure or who are still exploring starting their volunteer journey, iVolunteer Philippines, aside from Media Educators of Mindanao, we also have uh, different organizations that you could explore. So here are our 14 active NGOs, and we also have more partners, but the 14 sila lang yung naka-join sa Go Volunteer Expo. So we also have a registration open for 2023 for Social Innovation Challenge. So for those volunteer leaders or those who are trying to start their volunteer journey or start their own organization, you could also register for this incubation program. So with that, we wish that every Filipino will become hero by volunteering. So for more information, because this is just a very quick introduction, no? And I think most of you then know iVolunteer Philippines because you registered through our website. So for more information, you could see us at our social media channels at iVolunteer Philippines for our Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Pati ang aming website, www.ivolunteerphilippines.com.ph. And you could contact or email us then if you have organizations or if you want to volunteer at Mindanao at ivolunteer.com.ph. Thank you so much, Miss Jill, and congratulations, everyone.
Yes. So we wanted iVolunteer to speak today, not because at the end of the day, when you want to volunteer for nation building for MEM, I think pag volunteer ka, gusto mo rin pa mag-volunteer sa iba pang bagay, di ba? So we're giving you the opportunity, kumbaga, there volunteer as much as you can because as Filipinos, we really need to help our country, di ba? Kaya nandito pa tayo. Okay, so I think we can have, if you have questions, meron ba kayo mga, we can probably spare maybe 5 more minutes for 1 or 2 questions if you're curious, if you have anything at all. Anybody? While we have our speakers here, and if you have some questions about the fact-checking ambassador program, we will share you this recording. No? We will email you this recording para lang ma-review kayo. And at the same time, already posted here in the chat group our evaluation and at the same time commitment form. So please, if you're now interested, again, no, level A lang tayo, pwede tayo mag-start dyan sa share lang. Like and follow lang yung share lang. So yun lang yung nakagagawin natin. That's the easiest way to be ambassador. But if you really want to be educated, you know some skills. And by the way, no, itong mga skills na to, magagamit nito in your work. No? You can actually put this in your resume, fact-checking skills, and be certified for it. Then go and sign up. Okay, anybody? You have a question or any insight? Maybe somebody from MEM, our members from MEM, who new members natin from MEM, oh? Okay. Wala na? Anybody? Okay. So, all right. So just want to make sure that you have seen our eval form in the chat box. Okay. And I think we can end here. So again, thank you very much. We want to help Johnny in his project, and we want to help MindaNews in their fact-checking. So if you want to do that, please sign up to be a MEM fact-checking ambassador and be a truth patriot as we celebrate today's Philippine Independence Day. Thank you so much, and God bless. Bye.